He's so
like,
official. Like he's like a city worker showing up.
Exactly what I was just gonna say. Like he's from like the fucking city or something, showing up in his like hard hat. And
Executive Order A40. This is an illegal construction of a tower. It must be demolished. He should have just popped up and been like, surprise, Maximals, and shot a missile.
Too much energy.
What is up, listeners? You are listening to Too Much Energon, the podcast where we talk about the TV show Beast Wars in production order from beginning to end. This week, we are going over episode 10 in production order, The Probe. I'm one of your hosts, NeoCal.
I'm your other host, Christopher Siege.
And together, we are...
Too Much Energon.
Christopher, The Probe.
Yes, The Probe.
You like this one.
I do like this one. This is, as you mentioned, this is the 10th episode in production order. It is the 11th episode in U.S. broadcast order. It originally aired on October 15th, 1996. So almost 24 years ago now, exactly to the day, as we are recording this on October 1st.
Oh, man, Wait a second. Let me count on my fingers. Wow, I'm that
old. I am 35 3/4.
Oh god, don't start adding fractions. So
we're what, in the 10th month? Yeah, I would be like 35 3/4, I think.
You think? It seems like the animators are flexing there, or they got a bigger production budget, or you think there's a noticeable difference in this one, huh?
Well, diving right into the episode, we open on Cybertron. This is the first time we have seen Cybertron so far.
I was stoked.
Beast Wars. It is a very like cyberpunk looking planet, night skies, bright lights.
I love it.
Lots of dinginess and decay. The planet itself has straight up just chunks missing out of it. It's clearly a planet that has been just technological planet that has been completely torn apart by war, centuries of war.
So, do you think the whole thing is like a giant metallic robot-made planet, or is it just the whole thing is covered in one big city, robot city?
No, I think I do believe Cybertron is a completely technological planet. Although, are we considering Beast Machine spoilers? Beast Machine being the follow-up series to this?
I don't know. What do you think from looking at it? I think the whole thing is like a giant space station that got out of hand and turned into a planet.
Well, this is something that Beast Machines actually tackles, but I'll avoid going into any kind of detail on that just in case, we decide to actually talk about Beast Machines in the future.
That's a good point.
Because I mean, really, Beast Machines you could consider just seasons 4 and 5 of Beast Wars.
I've never seen any Beast Machines.
I watched it a little bit when it originally aired. I did not like it. And then
does it look different?
It looks different. One thing they did when completely replaced the writing staff, and the new writers that came in obviously did not know. They obviously didn't know much about Beast Wars because a lot of the characterizations were completely different.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, so that was kind of frustrating for me.
We can spoil that because I don't know if I'd want to watch it.
Yeah, so that was frustrating back in the day. I did watch through. I did do a full series watch through back in 2008 when me and a longtime friend of mine were roommates. We went through it and we ended up actually liking it
Okay.
Kind of as its own thing. Like that show actually has some good qualities, and it has a pretty sophisticated storyline if you can kind of unshackle it from Beast Wars a little bit.
Hmm.
Like kind of unshackle it from your own personal reverence to this show, which was, I think, kind of my problem.
Okay, so it is fine on its own.
It is, yeah.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, so we're on Cybertron. We hear a Maximal voice narrating, basically saying that Optimus Primal and his crew have not been seen or heard from in some time. They feel that must have gone missing while they were in pursuit of Megatron and his group of Predacon criminals after they stole the Golden Disc. They believe that the Maximals and Predacons may have been taken through some kind of temporal rift. So they are presumably Maximal Command at Cybertron is sending out a bunch of temporal probes to travel through time and look for the energy signature of the Axelon to try and track them down. And they say, if Optimus and his crew are anywhere out there, we will find them and bring them home.
Yep.
And they send out a lot of probes. Like
they shoot out a boatload of probes.
And I mean, really, like they would have to be sending out a metric fuck ton of them if you think about it, because it's like they even themselves they're acknowledging like, okay, Optimus and the Predacons could be literally anywhere in time right now.
Christopher, fuck tons only come in imperial units of measurement.
Oh shit. Optimus Primal said clicks. A click is a kilometer.
That's true. So I guess it's a metric fuck ton. There's a lot of probes.
Yes, there are a lot of probes.
And they go out. And it shows one of them. Do they kind of like go through little warps? Or
They
like
do,
portals? Yeah.
Yeah, it's transwarp bubbles.
In my mind, when I'm watching it, I'm like, wait a second. They have to check certain times too. You'd have to send out technically an infinite number of probes, no?
That's kind of what I was getting at.
Yeah. But 15 will do. Why not? Presuming they knew the last trajectory of the ships.
Yeah.
Maybe that helps. I don't know.
Helps me.
I don't know the resources I don't know the resources that Cybertron has at their disposal. Do they cannibalize whole planets to make these probes? Nobody knows. I'm gonna say yes.
I'm gonna say maybe.
Then I'm gonna say beast mode, because there's a lot of that going on this episode, whether they like it or not.
I'm gonna say suspenseful music playing. So we're on the planet now, and we pan past the Axelon, and we see 4 of the Maximals walking in beast form. Cheetor and Rat Trap are walking side by side, and behind them, Optimus Primal and Dinobot are walking side by side. Cheetor is like, out of nowhere, is like, last one back to the base is Predacon, chow. And Rat Trap's just like, hey, no way, furball. I ain't staring at no cat butt. So he charges off.
At first
Cheetor.
I thought that meant he's just not going to play with his game. But no, that means that he's going to race him.
That means he is going to play the game.
Yeah. Which, okay. Did you think it was a little bit weird that Rat Trap was keeping pace with Cheetor?
I sure did.
I was not okay with that.
That does not seem realistic.
Even if you took a rat and made it that big, because he's not the size of a normal rat, he's about 2/3 the size of Cheetor, maybe. Yeah. I mean, like, cheetahs are the fastest land animal alive. Like, a giant rat isn't going to keep pace with them. In my head canon, because I like to make up things in my head that make inconsistencies more bearable. In my head, I'm like, oh, Cheetor's probably moving at like 50%. He's like messing with Rat Trap.
Yeah.
He's letting him think that he stands a chance before he makes him eat dust. Maybe? Yeah, sure. I'm gonna go with that.
Yeah, he's fucking with him.
Oh, speaking of fucking with them, Optimus fucks with them way more.
Yeah, Optimus Optimus and Dinobot, after Cheetor and Rat Trap take off on their little race, Optimus and Dinobot both look at each other and shake their heads at one another. And Optimus transforms and blasts off into the sky. And Rat Trap and Cheetor are running along as dramatic rock music plays. Optimus flies over them and then lands right in front of them, or right in front of Cheetor specifically, as Cheetor is looking back, still continuing to charge forward. He's looking back, just taunting Rat Trap.
Yeah, he's like looking back, talking shit to Rat Trap as he takes the lead.
Yeah. And because he's not paying attention, he just crashes right into Optimus Primal, who has now landed on the ground.
And apparently Optimus is like 3 times as heavy as Cheetor, because Cheetor just like bounces off of him.
Yes, not only is he 3 times as heavy, he is apparently also bouncy.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Cheetor just like bounces off and goes like flailing back. And Rat Trap stands up and is all like, "Don't cats ever get tired of being stupid?" There's a line that made me laugh earlier.
And instead of Optimus being like, haha, it looks like I won, he like
actually
gives them a fatherly message.
Cheetor says, he was like, "Oh, that was mega low, Optimus. I was only racing Rat Trap."
Oh, I wasn't racing you. That doesn't count.
Yeah.
And then Optimus is like with his hands on his hips. He's like, now, son.
Yeah, basically, he's like, "I could have been a Predacon scout. You should be paying more attention." And then Dinobot is all like, comes along.
Dumbass.
Yeah, basically, he's all like, "You think Megatron and his cronies are busy playing games, fool?"
Well, you're playing games. The Predacons are training.
Training hard, saying their prayers, eating their vitamins. So they all
wishing they were in charge.
Or at least second in command.
Spying on Black Arachnia.
I mean, Scorponok seems to be happy just being second in command.
Oh, Scorponok is the happiest one on the show. Maybe Cheetor.
So they all transform. Optimus is like, "Sentinel, stand down." They
oh yeah, that's interesting. And there's like an energy shield that like ripples.
Yeah, and so we cut to inside the bridge of the Axelon, and have we ever seen this before? But
no,
we see we see 2 elevators come up.
There's 2 fucking elevators, and they both come up in them. And I turned to my partner. I was like, "Hold up, no, what? Has this always been a thing?"
I don't know. It definitely has not. And actually, I'm looking at a still image of it right now. It looks like they just mirrored the room.
Oh, actually?
Yeah, like actually. Like even like there is a hallway directly beside both elevators, and for both
different
of them,
hallway?
No, it just looks like a mirror image of the same hallway.
Oh, but there are 2 hallways in this shot.
Yeah.
Isn't there only one off the bridge? I'm a little suspicious.
Yeah.
Thank you for noticing that.
Maybe there is only one, but now that they've mirror imaged it, there are 2.
Sentinel did some weird shit to the ship, and now there's 2. Now they have 2 ways of exiting and boarding the ship. About 5 meters apart from the bridge.
but not the rest of the ship.
So if anybody's lying in wait with a gun pointing at one, there's a 50-50 chance they'll come down that elevator or the platform. It's weird. I noticed that too. I was like, hey, hang on. The platform little elevator to the bridge is its own character at this point. How dare you just make 2?
Now he has a twin.
Yeah, apparently.
So Rhinox is all like, "Oh, I'm getting a signal," basically. And Optimus is like, "Oh, what do you mean?" And Rhinox is just like, "Oh, it's a signal from space." And Dinobot just scowls, and he's like, "Oh, it's probably a Predacon trick."
Yeah.
And Rhinox is like, "Oh, well, it's hard to say. I can't break through the Energon interference." and he's
Right.
like rat trap, help me out with this, basically.
Yeah, he jumps on another little area on the bridge, little computer area on the bridge, and he starts like tapping buttons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He starts.
I don't know what he does, but he ends up cheering. Does Cheetor get on a computer at one point?
He does, yeah. Rhinox is like, Cheetor, I need more power. And Cheetor
Yeah,
is like,
so
I'm
is he the
on it.
Scotty?
Cheetor, maximize.
Yeah, and so he jumps on, and is he like the Scotty? Like, is he like redistributing the power of the ship or something? Because later
Yeah,
it shows a shot of his, and it looks like there's like a radioactive symbol on his screen. So is he the
I-
Scotty?
I'm glad you're bringing this up because like this actually like this kind of this is a Star Trek moment for this crew.
Yeah, it is. I like it.
I
Like
liked
they're
it
all
too.
doing different things on their own little like console areas, and he yells at Cheetor to like redistribute the power, or he just says we need more power. And
Yeah.
so arguably Cheetor is doing something with the power. He's the Scotty role. I said skitty. He's the Scotty role, and he's like, she cannot do it, Captain. And
Skitty McScotsman, yeah.
Skitty McScotsman. That was his accent before they landed on this planet, and he took a cheetah for him. And isn't there at one
and then
point
he just became a dipshit 90s teenager.
he's like, "Oh boy, well, yeah. If they take the personality of the animal, they are." He dropped being the Scottish engineer and became a teenager in the 90s. I mean, I'm not complaining.
Oh, there you go.
For some reason, Rat Trap cheers as if like he's the one that did it, even though it was a team thing.
I think he was the first person to actually see the probe. So he's all like, strip my gears and call me a floor lamp. Is that what I think it is?
Does he say, and call me a floor lamp?
He does, yeah.
Wow. Okay, moving on.
And Rhinox is like, yup, it's a temporal probe. Cybertron's found us. And then they're all like, oh, what? We're going home?
Yeah, they jump the gun on that, and they're like, yeah, we're going home. Cheetor like spins in his chair.
And Optimus is like, or Rhinox is like, yeah, if I can break through the interference. And Optimus is like, can you do it? And Rhinox is like, I'm gonna give it a maximal try. A maximal try.
I'm gonna give it the old college try.
That's exactly what I thought of when I watched this episode.
It's what my partner said. They were like, oh, gonna give it the old college try, huh?
So it doesn't work.
No. Oh, yeah, Rhinox like beats himself up over it.
Yeah,
and I'm like, oh, Rhinox.
Yeah, and Optimus is like, you did your best. No one could have asked for any better. And Rhinox is just like, no, I'm a failure. I blew it.
I might as well kill myself.
Yeah, basically.
And I'm like, whoa, no, Rhinox, you're being way too hard on yourself. You're the one that found that. If you hadn't been sitting on the computer at that exact moment, you would have never have known.
Yeah, but he decides to postpone eating a pie filled with cyanide for a moment and is like, wait, we might still have a chance. And Optimus is like, oh, what do you mean? And Rhinox is like, you know how probes work. They home in on the transwarp signature of the missing ship.
Well, that answers our freaking question from earlier.
And Rat Trap is like, but our transwarp drive has been out since the crash. And Rhinox is like, oh, we just have to duplicate it, basically, and build a signal array to shoot at the probe for when it makes its second pass around the planet.
Okay. That's what he meant by you know how probes work. See, what I remember was you know how probes work when it makes its second pass around the planet. And I'm like, is that how probes work? Do they make a second pass around the planet? Do they like orbit every planet in a system like one full time and then move on? But it's the they look for the transwarp signature. That's what he means by that.
Yeah.
And they can duplicate it, so go Rhinox.
It's a standard Cybertronian probe protocol to spend 2 days at every planet.
Well, thank God, because it means they can build this tower.
Yeah. Basically, it's just because the plot calls for it.
Yeah. It's a good idea.
So everyone's all excited on the Maximal ship. They're all like, "Yeah, woohoo, we're going home. Yeah, yeah."
And Dinobot's like,
yeah,
ah.
yeah, we zoom in on Dinobot's face, and he does not look thrilled.
Yeah, I remember saying out loud at this moment, I was like, well, he doesn't want that. And my partner was like, well, yeah, because he's a Predacon. And I'm like, no, because then it means he can't die an honorable death in combat. It's like asking a Viking to retire. But
Yeah.
it turns out, yeah, he's got some angst about it.
Yeah,
He
so
doesn't address it now.
but soon. So they're in, apparently, according to Dinobot, they are in deep in Predacon territory, and they are building a giant satellite dish.
Yeah, where are they? Are they on like kind of a mountain-ish, like a hill or a cliff?
Yeah, they look like they're on a clearing on some kind of like cliffside or mountain.
Yeah, presumably to
Lots of rocks around.
get more altitude for the beacon they're building.
Yeah, totally. Dinobot is like, yeah, you do realize we're in Predacon territory. Megatron will surely seize an opportunity or something like that to attack. And
Yeah.
Optimus is like, well, it's our best chance at contacting the probe, and Tigatron has our backs. And
Yay, more Tigatron.
more Tigatron. And then
the voice actor for Optimus said Tigertron, and I was like, hey, you say his name right.
he always says Tigertron.
Oh,
It's always bugged me.
does specifically Optimus?
Yeah, just Optimus. Yeah, he always says Tigertron. And it always even bugged me when I was a kid because I had the Tigatron toy. So I saw on the card of the toy that it was Tigatron.
You knew.
I knew, even at 11.
So when you heard Tigertron, you were like, Optimus, please.
Come on, Gary, just stop it. Stop it, Gary. You're
He didn't like
me.
the word Tyga. So he always says Tigertron. Interesting.
He does, yeah. So we cut over to Tigertron. Who's just chilling out, and he's literally sniffing the air, and then says, the air is sweet today. Like, actually.
Yeah, he's known for one thing, it's smelling things in the air.
And he's like, I wonder if Cybertron can match such natural beauty.
Oh yeah, I really liked that line, but I also felt bad because I was like, oh, right. His memory was like shot.
Yeah.
And then I'm wondering, I'm like, wait a second, when they're like reformatted, are their memories gone if they are reformatted as a Predacon? In my head canon, her and Cheetor had a thing going, and
Black Arachnia.
Yeah, sorry. And that's my head canon. Because all the protoforms are technically Maximals and like
they are, yeah.
Cryo sleep, right?
Well, yeah, and like in Double Jeopardy, when she like kicks Cheetor in the face and knocks him down, and it's all like another time, and then fucks off
and steps on his face.
Yeah, it seems like there was something there.
Oh, it's not just me. Okay.
yeah. No, I've always, like, even when I was a kid, like, I always thought that there was something there, and I thought that those two may have had some kind of history, but sadly, the show does not explore that.
But it does.
I feel like it was one of those things that the writers were probably like, it was an idea they had that they just never ended up going with.
Didn't have time or couldn't fit that into the plot and have it make sense, or producers were like, cut. No, we're not going to do that, right?
Yeah.
So, but it's interesting to think of because Tigatron has technically he should, if his memory was restored, he should remember Cybertron, but he doesn't.
Yeah.
Just little interesting thing I thought of. I think he's going to be vastly disappointed. Like he seems to really like the wilderness and the jungle and like prowling and hunting and sniffing the air. All of those things would probably not be fun on Cybertron. He'd probably
Cybertron
be
even
looked at.
have air.
Oh shit! He just blew my mind. Probably not.
I mean, it kind of just looks like a thrashed, mechanical, like burned out ball in space.
And they don't technically need to breathe.
At least not in their robot forms. No, they're robots.
So yeah, it ain't gonna smell like much. Or fumes. Like if you live deeper inside Cybertron, maybe it just smells like smoke and fumes. I don't know how clean is the energy that Cybertronians use.
Just smells like propane.
Smells like propane and propane accessories.
So
all these questions and more won't be answered on Too Much Energy.
But tune in next week anyway, just cause.
Yeah, we'll think of more questions that won't get answered. So the air is sweet.
So the air is sweet. Tigatron then, while he is sniffing the sweet, sweet air, sniffs Waspinator. And
meanwhile, we can actually hear Waspinator. So it's funny that he smells him first when there's a sound bite that they use for like the Waspinator. It's like this buzzing fly sound. And there's only one thing in the entire show that makes it. And that sound actually comes in, like, you're able to hear the sound before he actually says, smells like Waspinator. And I'm like, man, he's got really good, he's got a really good nose. And B, I mean,
he has terrible hearing.
He has terrible hearing. I don't know how his eyes are. That's
well, presumably he has Magno eyes too, though. Because we know
Cheetor's.
Well, we know
he's a cat.
But yeah, he's also a cat, so presumably he also has Magno eyes.
Maybe he has Magno nose, and you only get to choose one sense.
you only get one.
Everybody gets one. Optimus chose like giant muscles, able to take on a T-Rex, and Cheetor chose Magno eyes.
It's like choosing like a character trait.
Yeah, in an RPG or something.
Yeah.
You choose one at character creation, and then every other level you choose another one.
Yeah.
How many does flight take up?
Sorry, like real quick. Did I cut out there at all?
Oh, no, I heard you.
Okay, because my my Windows voice assistant, for whatever reason, which has literally I've never used before, for some reason just decided to start listening to me.
Bitch, I've never even seen you before. What are you doing here?
What you talking about, Willis? What you talking about? What you talking about, Cortana?
What you talking about, Waspinator? Speaking of what you talking about, Waspinator, doesn't he just waste him?
So Waspinator is flying around and is all like, Waspinator don't care what Megatron sell. Waspinator is tired of searching for Maximals.
I'm cool. My mom says I'm coolest.
And then Tigatron is like, your search is over, Predacon. And then, yeah, he just one-shots him. And Waspinator is all like,
I love that. You can hear him like whine, like, oh, like as he falls and like hits the ground, and he's like, oh. So notice that Tigatron always has to like drop a quip, even when he has the drop on someone. He never just silently shoots somebody from the shadows.
Yeah, despite somewhat ironically, despite the fact that he's all like Tigatron stealth mode all the time.
He snuck up on like, this is 4 Predacons now. No, if you include the other episode, when he was in the cave, he snuck up on them and hid from them successfully twice. But every single time he has to have like an 80s action hero quip. Can't just like Metal Gear Solid like snap a neck or two.
I mean, if he was just like Metal Gear Solid snapping a neck or two, even then though, he would act like he would just kneel down and be all like, Colonel.
Optimus. I need ketchup. Ketchup?
Rat trap. I was able to smuggle in some cigarettes in my stomach.
Well, that's a really good Pliskin.
Really?
Yeah, actually.
Oh wow.
What's his fake name in Metal Gear Solid 2? Something Pliskin?
Iroquois Pliskin.
Yeah. The name is Iroquois. No, it's not. You're not fooling anyone. He says in his Japanese accent. Anyways, Tigatron shoots Waspinator, and he
Tyga
out.
Pliskin is all like, yeah. So he blows Waspinator away, and then Tarantula Man shows up out of nowhere and was all like, he was bait.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah,
Tigatron's
fuck, man, what a creepy, scary. He's the only thing that's scary on this show. This
agreed.
fucking guy. Yeah.
This fucking guy, Tarantula Man. That's just gonna be his name from now on. I think he's just Tarantula Man.
And boy, oh boy, does
what have you done? What have you unleashed upon us?
something terrible, eh?
Exactly.
He gets so much.
Take off.
Oh well, Waspinator took off. Who doesn't take off? Tarantula Man, and he's got a new toy, and it gets
which
so
he
much
refers
mileage.
He refers to as his new toy.
And yeah, and he gets a lot of mileage out of this fucking thing.
Yeah.
Holy shit! Like this is like the source of conflict in the show is this weird ass contraption that he made.
Yeah, it's this like floating
Orb?
Yeah, it's like a floating orb with like jet
metal wings
with like kind of like jet thrusters.
Yeah, for anyone listening that's not watching the show, it's essentially this little like energy contraption that hovers around and follows a Tarantula Man.
And the glow, or not glowing, but the reflective silver orb on the front of it shoots out this beam that turns Tigatron back to beast form immediately.
Painfully, looks like.
Yeah, by the looks of it. And so
Tarantula Man is in his tarantula form, and he's cackling. He's not even doing anything. He's just like watching.
Yeah. So we're back at the rest of the Maximals building the satellite dish, or the array rather. They hear the weapons fire from
Tigatron. Yeah, they hear it.
Yeah, dealing with Waspinator and Tarantula Man. And Optimus is all like, "What's that? It must be Tigatron." And Cheetor is like, "I'll go and help him." And he transforms and runs away, and Dinobot's like, "I'll go with him." And Optimus is like, basically like, "No, you stay here. We need your help to finish the satellite dish."
Right. Just Cheetor goes.
And Dinobot sarcastically is all like, "Oh yes, we wouldn't want to miss our chance to go home." And Rat Trap's all like, "Hey, what's biting your senses, Dino Boob?" You act like you don't want to get off of this dirtball. You miss your predhead friends. And Dinobot actually gives a really, really good speech here.
Yeah,
it's a speech I really
pretty
liked.
Great.
And he's all like, "You're what I'm afraid of. You're all so eager to go home, but your home is not mine. I am a Predacon despite our allegiance. And when your ship comes to rescue you, my fate will be the same as Megatron's, perhaps even worse."
Yeah, that's some shit. And despite thinking that the whole time, he is helping them build it.
He is, yeah. And Optimus is like, "We won't let that happen. You're a Maximal now, and we'll see that you're treated as one." And Dinobot is all like, "And what makes you think I want to be?" Which is interesting.
Yeah, that's right. I was like, whoa, there's something to unravel there.
Yeah, this like we're finally starting to see some moral complexity with the character of Dinobot at this point.
It's almost like I keep going back to this, and it's a little more deeper than my summary, but it almost is like he can't leave the battlefield. Like I joke and being like, "Oh, Dinobot, if whether it's his or someone else's, Dinobot loves death." Yeah, it seems like he has a problem with the idea of like not being at war. Like this
Yeah.
weird kind of like, oh, what else do I have? Kind of weird veteran like mentality.
Yeah, I was just about to make that comparison.
Really?
Yeah. It's like all he knows is is war and the battlefield, and like that's that's basically all he's ever been, and that's all he's been ever been good at. So you take that away from him, and he's just lost.
And he is good at that. It's showed him kick multiple the other characters' asses
Megabutts.
multiple times. Megabutts, yeah. He's killed Megabutts. Yeah, multiple times. So yeah, maybe he just feels like there is no place for him outside the battlefield. And it's interesting because it lets you think. He doesn't just tell you. Like he after his line, what makes you think I want to be a Maximal? He just walks away.
Yeah.
Like he ends the conversation there. He's still helping them, but food for thought.
Yeah, because I mean, they are his allies, and so he that's the mission they have. Like he's going to bitch about it and basically be like reluctant, but he's still going to help them because, like I said, they are
He's
his
not
allies.
a slouch. Yeah, he ain't no slouch.
So we're back at Tigatron and Tarantulas, and Tigatron is stuck in beast form now because of Tarantula Man's new
toy.
And
yeah,
so
he tries to
he tries
maximize.
he tries to transform and doesn't work. He is all like Tigatron maximize and like kind of shorts out a little bit, and then he keeps saying maximize, but he doesn't transform.
Tarantulas cackles like a weird, creepy Spider-Man, Tarantula Man that he is.
Yeah,
like rubs his mandibles together.
And so Tarantula Man transforms into robot form and shoots this like blue like energy web onto Tigatron to pin him down. And then Cheetor shows up with gun in hand and is all like, "Drop the weapon." And
sometimes you just gotta shoot people. Maximals are too nice. And he's like, "Don't make any moves." Isn't this like the second time he did this to Scorponok. He like got the drop on Scorponok and he's like, my trigger finger gets itchy when you make me nervous.
Yeah. Right, yeah.
So Cheetor's good at sneaking up on people.
And that resulted in him getting like pinned to a web and getting his life force drained out of him by fucking tarantulas. Like,
or did he get shot by He got shot by Scorponok in that one. Yeah. Regardless, he gets the drop on people. And I guess he's too compassionate. Like he's like, I've got a captive.
Yeah, him being all like, reach for the sky doesn't usually work out for him.
No. What would be more surprising is if he just like cold-blooded said nothing and just shot Tarantulas in the back.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have liked that, but
so Tarantulas is all like, "Oh, as you wish." So he drops his gun and then he does this like kind of flamboyant pose.
Like he's bowing out of the way.
Yeah, and then he moves out of the way, and there's his new toy right behind him, and it shoots Cheetor and locks him into beast form as well, and Cheetor
Yep.
tries to transform. Doesn't work. And Tarantulas repeats the line from Dinobot earlier. Or no, not Dinobot, Rat Trap. Don't cats ever get tired of being stupid?
Oh, good catch.
And then he
Tarantula
laughs.
Man.
And
He says the same line, huh?
he does, yeah. And he energy webs up Cheetor, and then is all like 2 down, 4 to go, and then
Man,
laughs.
not
Man.
a good time. Both of the cats are caught.
Yeah, they're like cats in a cage, rats in a cage.
Yeah.
I don't know. They're trapped
Yeah.
like cats.
They're trapped like cats in a cage? Oh, yeah, they actually are in a cage.
So we're back at the Axelon. Rhinox is on the little computer table, middle of the bridge.
Oh, that round console thing.
Yeah. And he's like, "Oh, how long until the probe shows up?" And the computer is like 1.4 megacycles, which what is that even?
Thank you. So
We've been trying to figure out like what cycles were for the past couple of weeks now.
you
so,
know
like,
that you know that meme with like I can't remember what TV show it's from, but it has like all those like algorithms on a whiteboard and like little like pieces of thread connecting like things. And it's like the conspiracy theory like meme. That's us trying to figure out.
right. Oh, from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Thank you. Yeah. It's Always Sunny, and it shows like kind of like him like pointing to his like conspiracy board. That's like
Yeah.
us trying to like determine how long a cycle and a megacycle is. Because we're a megacycle's. You know what? Like, okay, cycles are what, like seconds, and we thought a megacycle was like an hour.
Yeah, I'm going with an hour for a megacycle.
And the computer says how long does it give them? 1.5?
1.4 megacycles.
1.4 megacycles. So that's longer than an hour. I'm going to say an hour and 40 minutes. How about that?
No, that would be an hour and uh, 18 minutes.
Oh, see, that's what I mean by we're that the conspiracy meme. We're like trying to actually do math on something that nobody that's writing the show actually bothered to think of.
Only guy with script in hand is the only other person who is actually who has tried to math this out before.
Little do we know.
And right now he is just like losing his shit because
I'm sure he
has already figured it out.
I'm sure he's figured it out
like 20 years ago,
and he's posted about it on Reddit like twice now. He's done the math. Yeah.
There is a Beast Wars Reddit. There has to be.
You know what's funny, listeners? I've never even thought to check.
Now that you bring that up, I'm going to check now, and then I'm going to plug this show on there.
You're goddamn right. Watch, there'll be like 5 posts within the last 2 months, if it even exists.
Probably, yeah. It'll be like 22 active members. And like none of them post.
The last post was a year ago.
Yeah.
The only posts are from Script Guy.
Yeah, basically. Although Beast Wars has been getting a lot of traction lately, so.
Also new toys. I don't know if we mentioned that.
New toys coming out.
Like brand new. They look fucking dope.
There are actually even more than the images that I shared on social media. There's pretty dope looking Optimus Primal and Black Arachnia figure that are part of that same line.
Oh, I'm gonna have to go check it out.
Yeah, unfortunately, the Megatron is already sold out, which I was like, But all the other ones are still in stock, so I was thinking on payday or something, maybe pre-ordering at least a couple of them. Definitely the Optimus.
Oh yeah, like they looked very high quality.
The
Very
prices
nice.
aren't that bad either. They're like
Given the
modern.
quality, I was actually surprised that they weren't more.
Yeah, like the Optimus figure is like $29.99. The Rat Trap is $10.
What?
Yeah.
Wow, that's very surprising. Maybe I should
Uh,
go grab the Rat Trap. Anyways, listeners, there's like new Beast Wars like figures. They're not that expensive. Go Google them. That's pretty great. What a
Yeah.
time to be doing a Beast Wars podcast.
Well, I know, and this is something that I was saying to some colleagues of mine recently. I'm like, it seems like we kind of picked the right time to
We put it off for years, and here it is.
we kind of picked the right time to actually launch this because it seems like I don't know. I think
Life finds a way.
BotCon, which is a annual Transformers convention that's been going on since like the 90s. There hasn't been a BotCon since 2015. It's coming back next year. Next year is the 25th
Ooh.
anniversary of Beast Wars. All of a sudden, Hasbro is making new Beast Wars toys.
Oh. So after 5-6 year hiatus, BotCon's coming back.
I think at BotCon, they're probably going to announce a Beast Wars movie.
Oh shit. That would be man, don't get my hopes up.
There were rumors about a Beast Wars movie being in the works late last year, so I think BotCon 2021 Beast Wars movie.
Oh wow. We're gonna
All
we'll
this
let the
like
listeners know what we find out.
all this like even IGN all of a sudden is talking about Beast Wars and doing like Beast Wars retrospectives.
I
Like
noticed
just
that.
yeah, it's like something's going on. Like there's something in the works. Like people like these things don't just happen for no reason.
No. We made this happen. We put the energy out there. And us and our 5 Turkish listeners put the energy into the universe.
See, we made this happen for no reason. But Hasbro resurrecting like putting Beast Wars back into the pop culture consciousness, like that is no accident.
No. They know what they're doing. Everything has cycles. There's zombies, vampires were cool for a while. They tried to make mummies cool for a while, but without Brandon Fraser, it kind of didn't take off. But now, damn it,
Yeah,
beasties are coming back.
yeah. Unfortunately, with the Mummy, that was a mega cycle, not a cycle.
Ooh. Yeah, I don't. What does Christopher mean when he says that? I don't know, but I understand. So we started talking about toys there. What is happening? Oh, right. 1.4 megacycles? Is that where
Yeah.
we are? Yeah.
So that's how long they have, however long that actually is. That's how long they have to contact the probe before the probe fucks off forever.
140 normal cycles. Wait, no, that would be like 2 minutes. Nope, still don't know how long that is. So what does
nebulous
that?
time,
A nebulous time.
but it doesn't sound like a lot.
No. And what's his reaction?
I don't remember, but we moved back to Optimus, Rat Trap, and Dinobot setting up the satellite dish.
It's coming along.
Optimus is trying to get in touch with Cheetor and Tigatron. It's getting no response, and then we see a first-person view, black and white, like almost security cam looking point of view footage that's actually running at a higher frame rate. I don't know if you noticed that, but like it looks like it's running at like 60 frames, whereas like the rest of the show is probably running at 24 frames.
I did not notice that.
Yeah, it's definitely running at a higher frame rate.
Well, that's because the security black and white fuzzy security camera is more advanced than the normal camera that they use to film Beast Wars. Yeah, let's go with that.
Yeah, they're using old cameras on that Beast Wars set.
What is this thing? Yeah. What is this camera looking at?
It is looking at the Maximals setting up the satellite dish.
Hmm.
And then we cut to a shot of Scorponok. So what we just saw was his point of view vision. And he is all like, Megatron must know. Or to really ham it up as you do, Megatron must know.
Megatron will give me good boy points.
There you go.
Oh, that's right. It does give us a glimpse of like his vision. Is that like infrared or does he just see in black and white? No one knows for sure, but all we know is that he sees in a higher frame rate.
No one knows for sure, but I intend to find out.
Beast mode.
So he ejects this little like
right.
black orb with a Predacon symbol on it.
Is it like it's a little orb?
Yeah, and he
Where
gives
does it
it
come
to.
out of?
I don't remember.
It kind of doesn't really show us his like claw, maybe.
Yeah, something like that. So he gives it to Pterosaur, and Pterosaur, who is in his dainty ass like beast form, grabs it with his beak and then screeches and flies away.
He screeches a lot, like a lot of pent up anger.
Yeah.
And here I am. I'm just surprised he's allowed to do anything after the shit show he caused a while back.
Like multiple times over.
Multiple times over. Yeah, geez. But yeah, he's flying away.
And we skip to the dark side, the Predacon ship, and Black Arachnia is all like, "Oh, is it a weapon?" Tarantula Man is all like, "It looks more like a long-range signal array."
Leave it to the scientists to know what it is. Presumably, they had seen the footage, the recording that
Yes.
Scorponok was making.
Yes, the recording is actually on the screen on one of their Predacon computers.
Oh yeah, they're just chilling, watching it on one of their monitors.
Yeah, someone is like, "Oh well, why don't we ask the kitties?" And Megatron's all like, "Excellent idea, yes."
And then camera kind of pans over and shows them both hanging out in a cage, much like the cage Rat Trap was in when he was in the dark side.
Yeah, those exact two cages. There is way more lighting going on in the Predacon ship this time around.
It's not a dark.
It's not dark at all. In fact, we actually see the interior. We can completely see the interior now. It's fully lit.
Kind of nice. I mean, apart from the floor is literally hot lava, but they got a platform to stand on. It's not so bad.
Yeah.
It does convey that this is a much bigger ship than the Axelon. Like,
it also has this
bigger.
weird, like almost skeletal look to it, which is
it's cool. It has its own feeling. It's like gray and dark steel, whereas the Axelon is like lighter tones, like brass and silvers. Also, it has a lava pit, which is pretty metal. Oh,
so
he goes to like ask Cheetor something.
Yeah,
Megatron?
he goes to ask Cheetor like what Optimus and the other Maximals are up to. And Cheetor is just like, "Why don't you ask him yourself, Mega Dumb?"
Does he say Mega Dumb?
He does, yeah.
I thought he said Mega Dump. Mega Dumb is dumber.
It is. I mean, it's stupid either
dump.
way.
Because both of those are dumb, yeah. Because Mega Dump is a noun, Mega Dumb is an adjective, right?
Yeah.
He's not even using a noun. It's like the first thing that pops up into his head. You know how they write his little quips? It's the first thing the writers think of. And even if it's bad, they go, "Nope, we have to use it."
Giga Bummer.
Doesn't Cheetor Giga Bummer is an iconic one?
I think that's my favorite one thus far.
Does he ever say that more often?
I don't remember. I just know he said it on last week's episode.
That's a good one. Doesn't Cheetor accidentally say something that gives them too much information? Like he's not even tortured. He just says something dumb. What does he say? He says something like,
the Predacon computer starts buzzing, and Tarantulas is like, "Oh, it's picking up something from space." And then Cheetor is like, "The probe!"
Yeah, his eyes go wide, and he's like, "The probe!"
Fucking idiot.
Right? And the Megatron's like, "Oh, I guess we don't need to use torture."
He's all like, "Oh, probe? Yes. It must be from Cybertron. Prepare for a full-scale assault. The array must be destroyed immediately.
Yeah. And then the
And then
viewer,
Megatron actually names what Tarantulas' new toy is.
the transformation lock lens.
Yeah.
I like new toy better, but it's good to know what its official name is.
I think we'll just
It's very creative too.
I think we'll just stick with new toy, you know.
And they piece out all of them.
Yeah.
Man, why don't they learn? All of them piece out, and they're like, "Oh, we'll just leave them unattended." And Cheetor immediately digs into himself. He's like, "Oh man, me and my big mouth, my big stupid cheetah mouth." And the viewer is probably like, "Yeah, man."
And Tigatron, being the voice of reason, is like, they would have attacked the array anyway, but at least they left us unguarded. And he starts swinging back and forth.
I love
Like-
this.
like the cool cat that
shifting
he
its
is.
weight. He's so cool. I remember why he was my favorite when I was a kid. Because he's also like, oh, they would have found it anyways. Like he alleviates Cheetor's beating himself up. But yeah, the way he starts shifting in this, like he's kind of like dancing, moving his cat shoulders and hips.
Yeah,
I love
and Cheetor asks him, he's like, what are you doing? And Tron is like, you always say what a swinging cat you are. So start swinging, and maybe we can free ourselves from these cages. So they both start swinging back and forth. It's a fun, cute visual.
I like it.
I do too.
Oh, it's weird how this works. The cages start swinging back and forth, and then they slam into each other, and the bottoms fall out.
We're
Like,
not
just the
quite.
floor.
We're not quite there yet. We cut back to the signal, the Maximals at the signal array.
Oh, you're
and
right. Yeah.
They've completed building everything, and it's basically like everything's done, but we're waiting on Rhinox to
Bring them a 3.5-inch floppy.
Yes, basically with the transwarp energy signature on it.
I feel like he should have gotten that earlier, but what do I know? Maybe it took time to compile a 3.5-inch floppy that matched the transwarp drive's signature. Yeah. Maybe.
That's my guess. Like
he was waiting on it. Yeah.
He needed time to work on it. So Scorponok shows up and is all like, Megatron has ordered this tower demolished. He blows Dinobot away, not cross country this time. So still only one appearance of the cross country missile.
I feel like the cross country missile would have been a good one to use now.
Yeah, like right? Like if
it
you're
doesn't
keeping
do any damage, but they take off.
If you're keeping that in your back pocket for a special occasion, like something like this, probably when you wanna bring it out.
Maybe you have to hit them just right, like center mass, in order to like lift them off the ground.
Perhaps.
Nobody knows. Only Scorponok, who can also record video footage.
So Scorponok then tries to shoot the array, and Rat Trap blows the missile away and is like, I don't think so. And then Dinobot gets back up and is all like, and I really don't think so, and fucking eye lasers him.
Oh, yeah, he gets up, kind of like puts a hand on his like shoulder and peers over him. Again, it shows the size difference. And I really don't think so. And just, oh man, I just fucking love that moment. Like, shoots him with eye lasers, and it's not like these eye lasers are weak ass things. Like, it fucking smokes him. I'm using bad descriptive language here. I'm just swearing, but like he hits him, and like Scorponok's done. Like he flies off the mountain.
Yeah, it blows him back and over this like boulder that was behind him. And then in one of my favorite visuals, or in my favorite visual in this entire episode, Dinobot and Rat Trap look at each other and give each other the thumbs up.
Yeah, I'm
gonna make that I'm gonna make that the artwork for this episode.
I was hoping you would. Yeah. And we had already established that they had this mutual respect that time that like Dinobot didn't listen to his lead, but then ended up saying, oh, like for this, I apologize. I should have listened to your lead, kind of thing. So it's established throughout the episodes that even though they might not necessarily like each other, and they kind of it's kind of like friends that fight each other.
Yeah.
There's this like camaraderie slash bro relationship between them, and I'm enjoying that. I really like that.
Yeah, I'm enjoying seeing their relationship develop again.
The thumbs up and the smile that they give each other, I just warms my heart.
Yeah. So now we're back at the dark side, and the cats are still swinging. And as you had mentioned,
They break the cages.
they break the cages. The floor panels get knocked out from beneath them.
Shoddy
And-
Predacon craftsmanship.
Yeah. They just don't build them like they used to back in the Decepticon days.
Wow. Yeah. Decepticons would have built this to last. What is it? It shows Tigatron just fall, but
Yeah.
Cheetor.
Yeah,
off screen.
he times it right, so he lands on the platform off to the side. But Cheetor ends up not timing it right and ends up falling. But then Tigatron,
There's like a Roadrunner sound as he's like suspended in the air for a second and then
Yeah.
falls.
Then Tigatron grabs him by the tail and pulls him up.
Oh, because he almost falls in lava. Right. He's falling. He's like, ah. And then he just stopped. Isn't he like covering his eyes with his paws or something?
Yeah, that's
I'm
exactly
like,
what he's doing.
oh, I was like, am I only like making it more cartoonic in my mind, or did he actually do that? No,
No,
he
he did
covers
that.
his eyes, and Tigatron's like holding him by the tail with his mouth.
Yeah. So he pulls him up, and Tigatron asks Cheetor, he's like, "Do you know where the Predacon restoration chamber is, so we can escape this transformation lock?" And Cheetor's like, "Follow me."
I ran around here for 2 hours one time. I have the entire place memorized.
Yeah.
Seriously, they were like powerless to get Cheetor out of this fucking base. It was kind of embarrassing.
I was in this base once for like an hour, like 2 months ago. Therefore, I'm an expert.
Well, I mean, he just completely ran around like uncontested, like hacked a computer or two, and just he probably has the whole base memorized. Rat Trap probably does too, actually. Those two have spent some time here.
I feel like Rat Trap probably spent more time than
I think
Cheetor.
Rat Trap spent more time, but Cheetor covered more ground because he was frantically running from missiles and looking for like that like chip that the Predacons had like manufactured or stolen in order to pick up on their transmissions.
No, that was Rat Trap who took the decoder chip.
Oh, you're right. What did? Oh, sorry. Cheetor came here when he teleported through the Energon relay.
Yeah.
Right, right. He did get a chip though, but what was that? He stole.
It was a map of the Energon, all of the Energon veins between underground Energon veins between the two bases, because he's all like, an explosion at either base would destroy us all, because they the same Energon vein runs under both bases.
Props for him to actually knowing that.
Right, that practicum's really working out for him.
Yeah, but nobody expected him to be able to teleport. But anyways, it was enough for Cheetor to know where the healing vats were, the restoration vats.
Yeah,
so he's like, "Follow me, Dad," and he's like, "What did you call me?" Tigatron.
The hot
brother. Yeah, we got a hot tub time machine to jump.
I was about to say the hot tub Predacon machine.
It is a hot tub Predacon machine. You just get dunked in it and you come out fine. And apparently, Tigatron is of the assumption, I don't even know how he knew that they had them, but Tigatron is of the assumption that it will heal their ailment of being like locked in beast mode.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. How would he know that? I mean, is he assuming, or does he actually know that?
Might as well try. The base is empty. You know what? Why didn't they fuck up their shit? Like self-destruct. Oh, I guess you need a voice command to self-destruct. I
Well,
don't
and
know.
if
Blow
they
some
if
stuff up.
well, and if they blow up the dark side though, then same Energon Bane under both bases. They'll blow up the Maximal base too.
We did just talk about that. That's true. That's true. I don't know. Break some more of their monitors like Cheetor did.
They could at least like raid their fridge and
Pee on their couch or something.
play their video, steal like their game console or something.
Yeah. Break the
steal
healing bats.
steal their N64.
No, don't steal the N64. You take out that little expansion pack thing at the front.
It's like, yeah, you steal the expansion pack, but you leave Perfect Dark and Donkey Kong 64.
And Majora's Mask,
Oh, right, yeah.
which was unplayable without it.
Well, so we're Perfect Dark. All you could do was you could do like one multiplayer map.
Oh, was that it?
Yeah, that's all you could do. I can't remember what you couldn't do much in Donkey Kong 64 without it.
Yeah, I didn't get to play that. All I knew is all I remember was that Majora's Mask just couldn't be played. You just needed it, or maybe you couldn't play it beyond day 1 or something weird like that. What
such
what
a
a
whack-
weird device.
It's
Yeah,
such a wacky thing to think about nowadays. It's like, could you imagine like someone trying to do that now? It's like, oh, the PS let's say the PS5. It's like, oh, God of War 2 is coming out for the PS5, but you got to buy this like expansion card to plug into the PS5, and it's going to cost you $100. And if you don't plug in this expansion card, then all you can do in God of War 2 is like basically you can play the first like hour in standard
that's what I was
def.
thinking.
You can play
Yeah,
the first hour in like standard def.
at 720p.
Yeah.
Thinking back, that is an anomaly.
Yeah.
Like
Like
even
that
an
would never
anomaly
fly
for its time.
nowadays.
It wouldn't fly nowadays, but it was even weird for the time. Like it's not like the Sega or not like the PlayStation had anything like that. That was a very real bizarre addition.
I mean,
It was cool though.
Sega was like nutty about add-on hardware, but
Yes,
like,
there
like the
it was
Sega
very weird.
CD and the 32X.
Yeah, their controller and the like little plug-in attachments you could put on the controller, very odd.
I have a lot of nostalgia for the Sega CD. It's a lot of people like to rag on the Sega CD, but I have a lot of nostalgia for it.
Hey man, the best Zelda games are on the Sega CD.
No, you're thinking of the 3DO.
Oh, is that what I'm thinking of?
Yeah. Yeah, there were like 3 like licensed Nintendo games that were on the 3DO, and one of them was like a Zelda game, another one was like this weird Mario game.
I was thinking of those Russian animated like Link's Adventure games.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking
Is
about.
is
Yeah.
that the 3DO?
Yeah, those are on the 3DO.
I had no idea.
The only reason I know is because Angry Video Game Nerd did a video about them like 10 or so years ago.
Ooh, is that guy still alive?
Oh yeah, he's still around. Still making videos too.
Is he? He dropped the angry thing because I imagine he grew up and he got exhausted of pretending he was enraged all the time.
Yeah, it's like, so you know how back in the day, like pro wrestling was all about kayfabe, and it's like you were like pro wrestlers were like always in character all the time, no matter when you saw them.
Yeah.
That's basically what Angry Video Game Nerd is at this point. Like for the most, like he has his channel where he does like the vast majority of his videos. He's just James. And he does like so many different shows now, but he'll still do every like I think he does like one like once a month. He'll do or once
Oh,
every
in
couple months.
character?
He'll do a Angry Video Game Nerd video that's semi in character, but it's nowhere near as like turned up to 11 as it used to be.
Yeah. What a interesting era. Like, we'll save this for our generic nostalgia podcast, but it was an interesting era, like the era of Angry Video Game Nerd and Smosh, where like the most popular channels were like these wacky, like screaming, turned up to 11, like young adults.
Yeah.
It was a different time for sure.
Yeah, fuck. I think like I remember discovering Angry Video Game Nerd before YouTube even came about. Like I think I first stumbled across his videos through like Kazaa.
Oh, wow, okay. I didn't
Yeah.
realize he was older than YouTube.
Oh yeah, he's OG. He's like early 2000s.
Yeah, so he milked that for as long as he could. Like you said though, he's off doing a ton of other stuff, so
Yeah.
that's good.
Yeah.
Man, I wonder what happened to all of them. Oh, speaking of like all those early days, one of the people from Smosh, Anthony Padilla, he's actually got a really interesting YouTube like talk show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's like an adult doing interesting things now. Yeah,
Funny how
yeah,
that works.
yeah. I think he gave the whole Smosh like license to, wow, I can't remember the other part of Smosh at the time. Anthony and wow, can't remember, but he just like gave it all to him and peaced out.
I was never really into Smosh. I just remember
I think you might have been just a bit too old.
Well, I remember like in the mid 2000s there was a girl that I dated who was really into Smosh.
That'll do it, or that'll
And
kill it.
yeah, basically.
Yeah.
that relationship did not end well.
Yeah, and so you were like, fuck her and fuck Smosh.
So a dramatic theme is playing as just looking at what the closed caption says on the episode.
And it is dramatic. Holy boy, does it get dramatic.
So Dinobot suggests that Scorponok's attack was just a diversion, and then Pterosaur shows up, fires off some shoulder missiles. Yeah, Optimus.
This is cool. What does he call them?
Optimus, Dinobot, and Rat Trap fire at Pterosaur, who then turns around and fucks off, screeching away.
Does Optimus use like anti-missile like cannons at one point? I remember he shoots somebody's like missiles out of the air, and they're like ground to air cannons or something.
Yeah, he
or was
does
that
that
earlier with Scorponok's missile? He definitely has some sort of like anti-air like plasma shoulder things, and he actually names them. It might have been when Scorponok was trying to shoot it, but like you said, that was Rat Trap that shot them out of the air. No, Rat Trap shot. Anyways, at one point, either earlier or now, Optimus has these like anti-missile like flak cannons, which it hasn't really shown. It showed him his shoulder cannons, but it's never shown these like missile interceptors.
Yeah, in this scene, he's firing his shoulder cannons right now.
Yeah, and who's he shooting at?
Pterosaur. And so Pterosaur fucks off, and then Rat Trap's all like, hey, where's Leatherpuss going? And Dinobot's all like, he always was a coward. And then we hear off screen, we hear Megatron say, ah, yes, but he makes an excellent diversion.
That's right. And the diversion he was.
And Optimus is like, you don't know what you're doing, Megatron. And Megatron's like, oh, on the contrary, I know all about the probe from Cybertron, and I mean to see that you don't contact it. No. Predacons, attack!
Yeah. And so who pops up here?
Black Arachnia. Yeah, Tarantula Man, Black Arachnia, and his new toy.
Oh yeah, that thing's there too.
So they send off a bunch of missiles and blasters. Don't hit any of the Maximals. They hit the ground behind them, but it's enough.
Not the tower.
But not the tower either. Just the ground behind the Maximals, and it's enough to like blow them forward in a like comical fashion. Like the way that Dinobot just like slow motion somersaults, like just out of nowhere from this
Oh, does that
blast.
happen? Does that happen twice in this? Twice where like it shows a slow motion. Oh, you're right. Isn't there like an action replay?
Yeah, and
Isn't that weird?
it's pretty comical looking.
It's so weird. It's almost like the video's stuttering
Yeah,
because it like action replays. Does it do it from different angles or is it the same angle?
it's the
Can't quite
same angle.
remember.
Yeah,
I
it's just
actually
the
thought my
one angle.
copy was like defective because it was like just jarringly like action replaying the same like shot over and over again. But no, the the editors decided that was cool. It's pretty cool.
So Dinobot, after he lands from this like hilarious like explosion somersault, charges toward Black Arachnia, who then proceeds to kick him in the face, and then Tarantula Man's toy shows up and blasts Dinobot and locks him into beast form.
I find
then
she kicks a lot. She's got
Yes,
some
yes.
martial arts in her. I like it.
Yeah, she was doing kicks to his face repeatedly, and then Dinobot falls to the ground, and Rat Trap shows up and is all like, "Nobody does that to my team, sister."
Oh, that's
Which-
right.
Which I appreciate, like Rat Trap's being protective of Dinobot now.
Yeah.
That's this like their relationship's developing.
And it's shown that Rat Trap has been good in a leader position and is good at taking responsibility. So I think his character's coming along quite nicely.
So Rat Trap just unloads, just starts shooting at Black Arachnia, and she, like, with every shot, she's getting blown back further and further.
Oh yeah, he wastes her.
And what's funny is when she gets right to the ledge, the camera pans above her and shows the ground on the over the side of the cliff.
Oh yeah.
And you actually see Scorponok just laying there at the very bottom, just
he's still
mangled.
down there. I imagine as sorry, go ahead.
I thought it was a funny little detail to throw in there.
I rewound it just a bit because I was hoping I would also see Waspinator.
Oh yeah.
But then I remembered, oh wait, that's a different scene. Maybe he's okay now.
Yeah, we haven't seen him for a while.
Well, he was shot at the beginning and then we don't see him again. Or is he at the Predacon meetup? I like to think that Tigatron took him out at the beginning and he's just down there at the bottom of the cliff with Scorponok. Both of them just like, oh, ow, my head. Megatron won't be happy.
Waspinator is somewhere.
Yeah, he's somewhere doing wasp things.
Talking about how great he is.
Great he is and how much his mom says he's cool.
Yeah. So Dinobot tries to transform. Doesn't work because he got blasted with Tarantula Man's toy.
Yeah.
And Rat Trap's like, "Hey, you okay there, Chopper Face?" Dinobot's like, "I can't transform." And then the toy shows up and blasts Rat Trap as well, making him transform to beast form.
What a stealthy little weird device. That thing gets like all of them.
Yeah, I know. This thing's a fucking game changer. I wonder if it's going to, appear in every episode following this.
Oh, clearly. Look how useful it is.
Yeah, right? You'd think that would be a thing that would just, like, be in every episode going forward. I'm not going to spoil anything.
Or, maybe the Darkseid's defenses should have some of these as guns? Maybe?
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, it makes sense, right?
Yeah.
I guess we'll just have to see.
I guess we'll find out over the course the remaining episodes of this podcast.
And then the Maximals will probably reverse engineer one and make one for themselves, right?
Yeah, because I mean this is a really game-changing device to introduce into the show.
And it's very good at dodging.
Yeah.
like shots. It showed Cheetor trying to shoot it helplessly earlier, and it just dodges out of the way. It's stealthy. It sneaks up behind everyone on this show. Gets them all. Gets all the Maximals. And not being able to shoot back, pretty big deal. Not being able to use like humanoid hands, pretty big deal. Not being able to eye laser,
Unless you're
pretty
Optimus.
big deal. Well, yeah, unless you're Optimus or Rat Trap, then you've got little opposable thumbs.
Yeah. So speaking of Rat Trap, so Dinobot and Rat Trap are both stuck in beast form now. We see Megatron in his robot form. He blasts them away.
Oh,
Optimus
yes, he
Primal
does.
is over by the emitter, and Tarantula Man's toy blasts him, locks him into beast form as well.
Yep.
And Megatron shoots him in a scene that I find kind of amusing. Megatron tries to shoot a missile at the emitter, and there's this one like steel beam just lying on the ground in front of Optimus, and Optimus picks it up
like it's made out of paper.
Yeah, and swings and hits the missile like it's a baseball, but it
with
doesn't.
This 20-foot long
Yeah, with
steel
the
beam.
Steel beam, but like the video is in this weird like looping. It's in this weird continuous loop. It loops like several times over.
Yeah,
Like,
that's what I meant by the jarring like action replay that it did earlier. It does now.
I don't know what they were going for exactly. Like it looks like the visual equivalent to like a CD skipping.
That's why I had said earlier, I'm like, is there something wrong with my download? Like it looks like it's like skipping.
Yeah. No, that's like I'm watching it on Tubi, and like I remember watching this show on TV. No, it always did that.
What a weird editing decision.
Yeah.
If it was slow motion but it's not slow motion. It's just a jarring like cutback of the same second of footage.
In fact, it actually looks a little sped up.
Oh.
It looks a little sped up, and it loops like several times over.
It loops several times over, but it's the exact same shot.
Yeah.
And it does
weird.
not please the eyes.
No,
it's weird.
It's
jarring.
Someone made a choice there.
They tried. They gave it the old Maximal try. That's going to replace giving it the old college try for me.
I do think so.
Gotta give it the old Maximal try.
There are a few things that we say on this podcast that I've actually kind of spilled over into my day-to-day vocabulary a little bit.
Like cycles?
Yeah, and like every now and then, like I'll just say like fucking eye lasers.
Yeah. Tell me a time when having eye lasers wouldn't help.
Right?
One of the times Dinobot used eye lasers in this episode, usually his eyes will slowly turn green and he'll shoot a green set of eye lasers. There's one shot where he fires one time and his eyes stay red. Not a big deal. I just notice eye lasers a lot, so they forgot to turn his eyes green.
Well, shit.
So they were trying some stuff.
So
he baseball bats the missile. And it's a pretty cool Optimus move.
It is, yeah. It's just too bad the editing was a bit questionable.
Perplexing.
That's a good way to put it.
Jarring.
It truly is.
And perplexing. But at least he gets the missile out of the way.
Yeah, but then Megatron shows up and just steps on him. Quite literally, just steps on his back.
Oh, and this is when we get to see his awesome, like, Megatron heals.
Yeah.
It looks like an ammo clip or something, but he's got, like, a heal.
Megatron is such a confident and fabulous leader that he wears heels.
Confident and fabulous. It's not about being insecure with my height. No. It's about being fabulous.
Dude's a fucking giant.
Yeah, he's taller than everything.
Yeah, he's like the tallest character in this show.
Yeah. He's a strong, confident leader. So yeah, he's stepping on him, like just
Yeah, so he's
fucking
stepping
like
on it,
grinding his heel into him.
and he says some bullshit. He's all like, oh, well, that was a valiant effort, but the end result is the same. And then a green finger taps
I love this.
Megatron's shoulder. It's good, right? He's all like, don't count on you, and you hear Rhinox say, don't count on it, Motorhead. And he just fucking decks Megatron right in the face.
Do almost feel like Motorhead should be playing it in the background as this happens.
This is also the second time they've used a character in the show has used Motorhead as a slur.
Oh, the other time was Rat Trap.
Yeah, Rat Trap said it in,
Yeah.
I think, last week's episode, maybe?
Motorhead.
or the
I
week
like that
before.
one. And apparently this is not a good thing. It's
Yeah,
a
apparently
slur.
not.
But yeah, he just, and again, Rhinox, not as tall, but like he is definitely the widest and probably most massive of the Transformers on the show.
Yeah, to me,
He just-
Rhinox is like the power lifter.
Yes. He's not gonna win any races, but like the dude can bench.
Yeah.
He can like bench his body weight.
Yeah.
And yeah, they animated this, him like winding up, and he showed like a lot of momentum going into this punch. And he just fucking decks Megatron. And he goes flying. Like I don't know what, 20 feet back or something like that. Maybe in my
Something
head
like
I just
that, yeah.
imagined it, but I imagine a tooth. He's missing a tooth again.
Yeah, so after that, Rhinox is at the emitter, punching some buttons. We see a shot of the probe in space, pretty much in orbit, directly above them. Optimus is like, tries to get Rhinox's attention because he notices something, and Rhinox is like,
Hold on, I'm almost finished.
Oh
And
yeah,
then-
and he's got the 3.5-inch floppy.
yeah,
And
he's
he's
got
just about to put it in.
just about to put it in, and then what do we see?
That fucking
Right behind
toy.
him, that fucking toy shows up, blasts Rhinox, turning him back into a rhinoceros. And
he
Rhinox
goes,
is like, no. As we see like him like looking down.
It's a slow-mo shot, by the way.
Slow-mo shot of the 3.5-inch floppy just falling to the ground.
As he's in his rhinoceros form, like helplessly watching this thing fall to the ground. When
Yeah.
it cuts out of the slow-mo, it's really funny. He's just like sitting there and he kind of just goes, huh. And he just picks it up with his mouth.
Yeah. And we see he brings it over to Optimus, and we see Optimus like kind of getting up, but in the background we see Megatron sitting up as well.
Bastard.
Yeah. And Rhinox is like to Optimus, he's like basically like, oh, you've got to finish this. I can't do it in this form.
Yep.
Which, I mean, I get it, but we've also, especially early on in the show, we saw Rhinox operate the like computer table console in the Maximal base in his beast form.
We've straight up seen him chilling which by the way he didn't need to be, because it's established they can stay in their robot forms.
Yeah.
While they're on the bridge of the Axelon. However, yeah, it has shown shots that we've made fun of before where he's just chilling in his gigantic rhinoceros form, like tapping with his giant rhinoceros hooves at the console. So I find it funny that he has the dexterity to pick it up with his mouth, but not the dexterity to like push it into the little console on the tower.
Yeah, and just like tap a button
with his tongue or something. Who knows?
Because like we've seen like the kind of tech that this guy develops. Like what was last episode? It was a giant fucking red button to turn off Sentinel. Like,
yeah, so there's probably only one button to press here.
Yeah.
But the giant red button was behind a lock screen, a malfunctioning lock screen that you just need to punch and it opens. So yeah, Optimus does grab it, But
Megatron gets up and he's all like, no Predacon will become a maximal prisoner while I rule. No. And Optimus looks at him like with just like the saddest look on his face, and he's like, Megatron, no.
yeah, it's like anguish
Yeah.
and pleading.
And
Yeah,
Megatron raises his like little tail missile launcher thing, aims it at the array, fires a missile,
and
and blows it
fucking
up.
blows it up. Yeah. And this is wow, we get okay, so let's deconstruct this. Not only
This
does
is
he aim it at the base and blow it up, but there is some good editing. We've talked about the bad editing, but like this is horrific. Like this is villainous.
oh there yeah, so we see
An explosion.
an explosion, and we see a partially opaque, like intercut shot of Megatron's face as he's laughing while the emitter is blowing up.
Is blowing up his head back. He's laughing with like semi-transparent like overlay of his like head.
And then we see like a shot of Optimus and Rhinox flying into the air with like almost like horror movie type lighting.
Oh yeah, and their faces like it's funny because Rhinox goes ass overhead again, like completely helpless. But like it's slow mo, and yeah, they're getting blown up. Like it's scary,
Yeah.
and it cuts to them, and then it cuts back to the explosion and the emitter falling over. But the whole time there's this transparent. Maybe it even changes sides of the screen. Who knows? There's this like transparent like shot overlaid of the rest of the scene, transparent shot on the left side of the screen of Megatron laughing deeply and heavily as like this explosion is like happening and the Maximals chance of being rescued is destroyed. Like it's wow, like I was like Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Like
And
that's great.
yeah, and I had mentioned this to you off air before, but like this is the first time we've seen the Maximals really lose. And
Oh
not
yeah,
only
they
did they
lost.
and not only did they lose, they lost big.
They lost big. All of them. Uh, we I can't quite remember, but if Cheetor and Tigatron like show up,
They do show up, yeah.
but
And
it doesn't matter.
yeah, they show up.
The Predacons retreat.
Yeah, Cheetor is like, time for you to decorate a cage, Mega Dork. And Megatron's just all like, I think not. For your chances, he's basically like, there's no way you're going home, so the Beast Wars will continue until I'm the victor. So he
Oh, that's
transforms,
right.
and then he
Yeah.
just literally just leaps away.
Oh yeah, it's hilarious. He jumps over the point of view of the camera. Like he jumps over Optimus and Rhinox and
Yeah.
over the point of view of the viewer. And I was like, oh, that was a weird shot. I thought he was
Yeah.
gonna stomp on them for a second. No, he just like Mario jumps away.
So Cheetor asks Optimus, he's like, did we do it? Did we get the signal to the probe? Are we going home? And it's playing that like typical Beast Wars sad music.
Oh yeah.
And Optimus is like, not today, Cheetor, but someday.
But someday. And it kind of shows like it pans out the camera as again it's playing that somber kind of like sad three-toned like do do do, and it pans out and like the Maximals are kind of picking themselves back up, and it shows like Dinobot like shaking his head and the destroyed relay, and you're like, oh
yeah, Dinobot kind of just walks away.
Yeah, he just like walks off to stare into the the sky or something, and yeah.
And then the episode ends with a shot of the probe leaving.
Yeah, it just pieces off and it kind of warps away just like it entered the system.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's some shit.
Yeah, I really liked this episode. I think I think finally seeing the Maximals losing and losing big when the stakes were actually pretty high, like I think it, in a way, like it kind of humanizes them. And this episode, it's funny because like I actually didn't really like this episode a lot when I was a kid because I found it too sad, quote unquote,
Well,
too
yeah,
sad.
it's different watching it as an adult.
So, but yeah, and so watching it as an adult, I'm like, no, like I actually really appreciate this because this actually shows that this actually shows that the Maximals are in some kind of plight on this planet, and that it's not just about like, oh, like fun hanging out and fun adventure times and stopping the bad guys all the time. It's like, no, they're actually like
They're stranded.
they're stranded. They want to go home, and the only realistic chance that they have been presented with so far was taken away from them by the big purple asshole on the other side.
And it kind of moves Megatron out of the position of dramatic Shakespearean villain who can't catch a break to dramatic Shakespearean villain who like revels in the suffering of others.
Yeah, it's like this episode takes him
Right?
from being like just like a flamboyant, like Shakespearean, like cool kind of fun villain to like he's kind of just an asshole in this episode.
Yeah, like he's actually like a villain.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it completely changes the tone too. I'm kind of very curious to keep going and seeing like the next episode and like see what follows because like yeah, wow, it changes the mood of the entire show.
Definitely. Speaking of the next episode we will be reviewing on next week's episode of Too Much Energon is the 11th episode in production order, which was the 10th episode in US podcast order, Guerrilla Warfare. But
Is it spelled gorilla or gorilla?
It's spelled gorilla. Get it?
I do because Optimus is a gorilla.
Haha.
Things that children don't understand.
I got it when I was 11.
I was a pretty smart kiddo too. And I remember turning to my mom and I was like, "Oh, it's like funny because it's not like guerrilla warfare." My mom was like, "Oh, is that a thing?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's like sneaky hit and run tactics they use in Vietnam and in France during World War II." My mom was like, "Okay." And then I went off and played video games.
You just went off and watched Platoon again.
Wow, yeah. Apocalypse Now.
Yeah.
The first Predator movie.
Oh yeah, I was watching all of those movies when I was a little kid, so.
Me too. My cousins and I loved Predator, Terminator, The Labyrinth.
Yeah, for me it was like Predator, Terminator, RoboCop, Batman.
Oh, Tim
Burton's Batman,
yeah.
So
I don't really have anything else to say. I think that's a pretty good wrap up.
I think this is it's getting pretty late. We got to get out of here. I think that's a good place to wrap it up. So thank you very much to everyone who listened to this episode. As I said, we will be back next Saturday with episode 11, Guerrilla Warfare. If you want to send us an email, you can do that at toomuchenergon@outlook.com. Be sure to check out our Facebook page at facebook.com/toomuchenergon. If you want to hear even more of us talk, we have recently launched a secondary podcast where we review another mainframe entertainment show from the 90s, Reboot. It's called
It's real.
It's real. Alphanumeric, a reboot podcast. You can listen to that as well as this show on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or if you're using an Android specifically, you can also find us through Podcast Addict. So
we're making our way through all the popular 90s cartoons. Only the 3D ones, though. I draw the line there.
Only the mainframe entertainment shows. So
yeah.
we basically, unless we want to start getting into all of their direct-to-video Barbie things that they did, which no, I don't.
I changed my mind. No, just these two.
So after these two, all we really have to work with is Shadow Raiders and Beast Machines. So we'll see where the future takes us.
We'll see. I'm hesitant about those two, but they're not too long, so who knows?
No, they both only lasted 2 seasons apiece. So
yeah.
So I believe 26 episodes. 20.
We might do
26.
one. Maybe we could even do like a whole episode just talking about that by itself.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe.
When we get there.
We'll see. We'll see.
It's a long way away. Anyway, thanks for listening. I am one of your hosts, Christopher Siege.
I am your other host, NeoCal.
And until next week, Beast Mode.
Beast Mode.
Beast Wars!